Hello, I'm Laika. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are continuing with Buried. Just go through the end decisions of chapter 3 first. The blunt truth. You and 59% of players told Dennis he'd probably be fine. Slow them down. You and 35% of players sided with Amy on pulling the hydraulic door. I would have thought more of us would have done that. Who to trust? You and 69% of players gave the gun to Amy. Murder or mercy? You and 42% of players killed Marcus. Now or later? You and 32% of players used your ammo and took extra shots at the creatures. Begin chapter 4. The ride up the elevator is tense. I take a series of deep breaths, doing everything I can to stay in control. Amy has gotten back to her feet, but her head is pressed against the elevator wall as she suppresses a series of sobs. I find myself trying to remember the way those creatures looked, but my mind seems to shudder at the effort. I have seen something that is an impossibility, a mockery of what I know is real. This fills me with a terror that dwarfs anything else that I have felt since discovering the facility. I try to focus my mind on something else, and that's when I remember that I've just murdered Marcus. I killed Marcus, I say, the thought feeling like jumping into cold water. Have you ever killed anyone before? Amy asks. No. He was going to kill me, she says. I'm sure of it. Probably. Well, thank you, she says, but her tone is unsteady and her face is unreadable. Of course. Well, I still can't believe I did it. I can't even imagine, she says. Then she looks to me and asks, all of that, it really happened, right? I can only nod, because I can feel some of her disbelief trying to sneak into me. It's almost like it's contagious. So I say, how did you end up here? She gives a nervous chuckle and shrugs. I used to work with the Pentagon. It was some pretty upper echelon stuff that I still can't discuss. I assume this place is even more upper echelon, I said. This place isn't even on the scale, she answers. My other job was a cakewalk compared to this. Then why stay, I ask. Because the money is ridiculous. I have a 13-year-old daughter already talking about Harvard. You do the math. Kids, Harvard. Harvard, that's ambitious. Oh, I know, she's a force of nature. Her dad ran off when she was 3, so for a long time it's been just her and me. Amy pauses before continuing softly. What if I never see... Her voice breaks off, the words too terrible to say. Her eyes fill with tears. The elevator comes to a stop, a slight ding of it interrupting the moment. Amy hastily wipes her eyes, and we waste no time in getting back inside the command centre. Continue. I ready the rifle, suddenly certain that there are more of those creatures waiting for us in the hallway of the second level. But the way is clear, allowing us to haul ass to the command centre. Once again I find myself staring at the screen that shows my ruined work site. Okay, Amy says, typing commands rapidly. It can't be that hard. I keep peeking over my shoulder, my senses feeling as if the monsters are sneaking up on us, mere inches away. I then think of Dennis and wonder how he is faring back on level 3. Is he safe? I look back to the screens and see that Amy has finally found what she's looking for. A prompt on the screen says, override of hangar doors and all level 3 locks requires clearance code. Amy types in a number with shaking fingers and the screen goes black for a moment. The moment the words override confirm come up on the screen, Amy jumps up from the chair and heads out of the room. We have to be quick, she says. We have exactly 20 minutes to open those hangar doors. And what happens in 20 minutes? Oh, we better get moving. Which one? locks will kick in again, she says. Security measure. I couldn't do anything about it. I follow her out of the command centre and bound back into the hallway towards the same elevator that brought us here. Amy punches the elevator button and the doors slide open. We're taking this same elevator back to the biochem room, I ask. Those creatures were still down there. It's the only way back down, she says. The other way is blocked by those hydraulic doors we pulled. Why did we shut those doors? Hopefully the creatures left. Hopefully. Neither of us says anything else as we share a look of immense dread. We step back into the elevator and head back down to the biochem room on level 3. As the elevator doors open, we peer out, looking to see if the creatures are still in the area, but it's all clear. When Amy looks to me, her eyes are clear and strong. Marcus wasn't entirely wrong, Amy says, as we start walking back towards the hangar doors. About what? I ask. About how I'm partially responsible for all this. You're right, you are. Why would you be to blame? Well, I probably shouldn't just blame her right then. I think maybe I'll be nice. Some of the things we do here is scary. We should have known that one day something like this would happen. Everyone here with knowledge of what goes on in level 3 is to blame, she says. It's a highly advanced research facility, I say, doing amazing but risky stuff. So yeah, you're partially to blame by just working here, but I can understand the dedication. So why don't you tell me a bit more about what does go on in level 3, I ask. Are you familiar with the Large Hadron Collider over in Switzerland? I've heard the phrase, but that's about it, I say. It's a powerful particle accelerator, she explains. Right now they're using it to try and create what's called dark matter. It's theorised that this dark matter actually makes up the majority of the universe, but parts of the universe are very different from ours. My guess is that the people at the LHC will probably create their first dark matter particle in about 2018 or 2019. Here in this facility we were able to create one almost 10 years ago. It was a key to our research. Well, we still don't know all there is about dark matter or other matter we have yet to identify. These creatures could be made of it, or they could be made of some even more exotic matter we just don't know. If dark matter is responsible, there are no real answers to have. I scratch my head. So you're saying this dark matter helps with what? Opening up other dimensions or something? That's the theory, she says. During the point-to-point transfer, the subjects are gone for about 3 to 6 seconds. There's no way to see or measure their presence, but they exist somewhere. From what we can tell, they exist in a kind of void. What is that place like? We have sent some human subjects through. Almost all of them return successfully. I make an involuntary grimace. Almost. There was one man, Dr. Canna, who didn't return. We don't know where. She trails off for a moment, trying to collect herself. Sorry, I asked, I say, feeling my mind starts to bend inward again. As we continued to walk between the silos, we walked past the area where we left Marcus's body. I barely even glanced at his body, still unable to believe that I was responsible for killing him. I also don't want to look at additional damage the monsters caused. A pool of blood and mangled clothes are all I can see through the corner of my eye. I realise that we are walking very close together between the silos, perhaps trying to create the illusion of safety. We reach the exit connecting to the hangar doors where Dennis hopefully still is. My guts clench and my heart hammers in my chest as we open the door and walk through. I lift the rifle, but at first it seems there is nothing waiting for us, and that's when I see the glowing hulking shape to my left, closing in fast. about 10 feet away and coming in quickly, so I do the first thing that comes to mind. I drop to the ground, making myself a smaller target and raise the rifle. I'm not sure if I should just unload on the bastard or try to be choosy with my shots and weaken it, or at least slow it down. Well, I don't think the rifle will do much good anyway. There could be more bad people in there. I might need my ammo for them. Shoot to weaken. My first shot causes the entire milk crate frame to jerk to the floor. It flounders, its ghost-like tentacles writhing with rage. It cries out at me. It seems to turn and jerk away, parts of it appearing and disappearing every few feet. It moves down the hall and out of sight. I look around quickly for the others, but there is only Amy. She looks at where the monster went with wide eyes. Her face is pale, and I wonder if, like me, she's unable to feel her mind trying to retreat. She's able to feel her mind trying to retreat. Come on, I say, let's find Dennis and get through these hangar doors. Amy glances at her watch and nods. We're already down to 6 minutes. We turn towards the hangar doors and I'm a little disgusted with myself because the bloody scene that so shocked me before now seems mild. Amy goes to work on the computer console on the side of the doors. She starts punching in keys before saying, "This is going to take some time." "I thought you had already locked it," I asked. "I did," she says, "but for this door there's still security permissions I need to hack. Marcus would have known how to do this." She trails off and I decide to let her work. Suddenly something slams into me. I feel my feet leave the floor and I am literally thrown across the concrete. I look up in time to see one of the creatures. It's in apparently no hurry to attack me again, focusing on Amy instead. She's not armed. I need to come up with a plan to get this thing away from her so she can focus on getting the door open. It raises one of its flickering appendages, making me certain that part of its makeup is pure light and energy. I could easily take a shot with my rifle, but my mind again goes to how much remaining ammo I have. The only other thing I can think of is to get it to chase me and lead us away from this room somewhere. Oof. I'll be a hero and I'll distract the monster. "Hey," I yell, "right here, come and get me. I'm the one that shot your buddy." It turns to me and I'm again faced with staring at something that has no business being in this world, in this reality. Its body gives off a short glow around the central part, a bulbous core that is branched off into two humps, very much like a spider. Again, I sense this visual information is not accurate. It is the best my simple mind can do to make sense of this impossible creature. It starts lurching towards me and lets out a shriek of agony that makes my ears feel like they'll explode. Now that I'm sure it's coming after me, I take off running and head into another hallway we haven't been down. I find myself in an industrial-looking area and I'm pleased to find that the monster has followed me through. The room seems to be an assortment of old pipes and tanks. I assume some of them are running further down into other areas of the facility. With the creature on my tail, I dash into a maze of metal hoping to lose it. It's definitely having a harder time squeezing through than I am, and that slows it down. Of course, the room's not a cage of any kind, and the thing is still heading towards me, shredding through the pipe as it rages. I notice that sometimes it's breaking the steel girders, but other times it seems like it's somehow merging or changing them. Pipes that were separate are now connected together in a way that makes my head hurt. I finally get a good amount of distance between myself and the creature. I think it's lost my trail. I need to get back to those hangar doors. There's not much time before they close shut, but if I make a sound, that creature will be on my heels again. Quietly or fast? Quietly fast. I'm gonna go fast, sod it. Those doors ain't gonna wait. There's no time, I think to myself. I have to get moving. With no care of staying silent, I twist myself through some more pipes and make my way back towards the door I entered through. Immediately the creature picks up on this and turns towards me, but I don't even look back. I slide through this rusted obstacle course and sprint back to the hangar doors. I burst back into the large room and see Amy still working on the computer terminal by the hangar doors. "You okay?" I ask Amy. I can clearly see her battling for control of her faculties. Still determination wins out and she gives a grim nod. "Any sign of where Dennis went?" I ask, hoping she hasn't noticed his body somewhere. "No," she replies. It's then that I realise I have no idea how many rounds I have remaining in the rifle. This isn't a model I'm familiar with. Outside of deer hunting, I'm not much of an expert in firearms. Still, I'm able to locate the chamber easily and see that there are only 2 rounds left. I silently curse myself for being too trigger happy earlier. "How are we on time?" I ask her. 4 minutes. I'm going as fast as I can. I was worried about how long it would take you to lose that thing. "Well," I say, "I decided it was better to get back quickly than to..." At that moment, the creature screams on the other side of the door. He'll be in here any second. Amy does her best to focus on the keyboard, but there is still no sign of Dennis. Before I have time to look around, a screech sound erupts from the other side of the room. I bring the rifle up in a shooter's stance and turn around. With the hangar doors right behind me, no sign of Dennis, and a closing window of time, I have to be confident. Yet when 2 monsters come around the corner, my body wants to shut down. The appendages seem to jump in time and space, reaching out for a split second independent of the body, then disappearing back to where they came from. It turns and screeches at me, its glowing tentacles shaking out of its body. My knees tremble uncontrollably. Behind me, Amy shrieks. I feel myself losing control, my mind sliding into the abyss of insanity. I pull myself back from the brink. I've got to stay in control. Shoot them. I've only got 2 bullets left. I don't think I can kill them with 2 bullets. Turn away. I could stand there and use my last 2 shots, but what good would that do? So instead I turned to face the hangar doors. "How much longer can you open before you can open these things?" "Not long," she says furiously, typing into the terminal as commands flood the screen. I doubt it, I think to myself. "Can I do anything to help?" I ask. She doesn't answer. Deep in concentration, I turn back around and see a looming shape appear. The creature comes around the corner, screaming out that static-like sound. I step away from Amy and the hangar doors and towards the monster ready to defend her. I ready my rifle, but the creature wastes no time. It makes that jerky motion towards me, and there's a sharp pain in my chest as it flies with me, or through me. It's hard to tell. My instinct is to try and grapple or hold this thing down, but then I realise I don't even know if that will work. Oh, I don't know if either will work. I try to grapple with the creature, but it feels very different from my struggle with Marcus earlier. It's not that easily grabbed. My fingers slide through parts of it, some parts like a ghost, others like a jellyfish. Touching it burns my hands, but only slightly. When I realise that I can't grip it, I quickly spring it away and turn to face it. With a scream of defiance, I raise the rifle and put a round to its core. The shot lands dead centre and the light inside of it flickers almost violently. It falls back against the wall, issuing a hiss of its telltale static noise. It then jerks away and retreats, at least for now. Another terror appears, it's out of nowhere, screaming at me with its high-pitched whine. It bounds forwards, charging its strange and spastic way. I aim the rifle, intending to take this one to the fortune. I take several shots, but it's still coming at me. As it slams into me, I pull the trigger again and realise my rifle is now empty. On contact, the wind is knocked out of my lungs and the back of my head strikes the floor. But neither of these things is alarming. It's the fact that the beast is on top of me. Its exterior is like a seashell that has been pounded by the surf for so long that it's lost all its edges and ridges. But the grip it tries to capture me with is of pure violence. I feel those light-soaked appendages starting to wrap around me. I survival, knowing that he's empty but hoping to use it as a wedge to push the thing off me. The weight of the monster was erratic. One moment I feel weightlessness, in another I feel like I'm going to be crushed. I push upwards with the rifle. The monster budges a bit but almost seems to absorb it, warping in its grip. I see the core of its body, a spider-like shape connected to the rest of it by thin white strings of tissue. I'll be dead within seconds unless I can fend it off or get help. So, release the rifle, punch it. I don't know what Amy's going to do, she's busy with the door, so I shall punch it. I do my best to give one last heave and push it off, but my hands melt through it. I curse myself for wasting so many bullets earlier. Two of its appendages wrap around my left shoulder, and I feel a white hot pain fill my body. The tentacles burn, and I realise that some are actually going through my shoulder like a kid pulling apart the stitches of a doll. But then I see the creature extend its tentacles in aggravation while making that static screeching sound. The creature flickers, releasing suddenly. With a shudder and a cry of desperation, I roll away from it and see that a large hole has appeared in its luminous core. The creature disappears into thin air and reappears a few feet from me, retreating back towards the biochem room. Amy looks over at me from her terminal and the hangar doors, looking petrified. Dennis stands several feet away holding a shotgun. He looks slowly towards us and is clearly just as scared and out of sorts as we are. Are you okay, boss? He asks. But his eyes aren't just on me, they are looking at the creature, trying to understand exactly what he has just seen. About 15 minutes ago, I heard the door to that maintenance room unlock. Dennis says, pointing to the room I tried to burst my way into earlier. Ah, Amy says, well, I did the override for the command centre. It's unlocked all the small doors down here, including that maintenance room. I went inside there and hid, Dennis continues, and while I was waiting for you to come back, I found a massive drum. There are a few guns in it, so I grabbed this one, he says, patting the shotgun. I'm glad you found weapons. Well, I'm glad he found weapons because he saved my butt, but I'm also glad he's safe. Thanks, boss, he says. Me too. Great. Now, how is that door coming along? I ask Amy. She makes a few final key presses and says done. The doors open with the noise of hydraulics and a whoosh of air. Dennis, Amy and I climb up and head through the doors, moving on nothing more than adrenaline. I see a long-lit maintenance room Dennis took the shotgun from. When you get into the hangar, Dennis says, I'll get some more firepower. Satisfied with the plan, Amy heads towards the door. We scramble inside, finally inside the hangar. Dennis approaches from behind, holding several guns and looking like a kid who grabbed an armful of Halloween candy. Amy reaches out for a 9mm with one hand. Dennis turns to me and holds a shotgun and a handgun for me to choose. Both look deadly. The shotgun is more powerful, but the handgun will probably be more precise. But for here, I think I'm going to go with handgun. I select the handgun and I'm comforted by the way it seems to fit perfectly into my shaky grip. There are more creatures coming, as many as a dozen. They are floating down the hall quickly, their tentacles slithering. The way their light seems to mingle together is almost beautiful. Close the door, I yell at Amy. She dashes to another terminal mounted on the inside of the hangar doors and tries desperately to close them. It's not working, she says, with tears in her eyes. This terminal is disabled. Dennis looks at the open doors, readying himself to shoot the first monster that nears us. Are we trying to slow a few of them down, or just run for it? He asks, his gun at the ready. Far away. We've got plenty of ammo. I use my handgun to take several precise calculated shots that splash through their forms, slowing them down. Dennis fires a shot into the approaching swarm and they scatter instantaneously. Just to give them something to think about, he says smugly. With that, we turn around and sprint out onto the hangar floor. and this is where we will leave it for tonight. I will be back with part 2 tomorrow. Thank you for listening and goodbye.